Belisa carefully watched Elysia's facial expressions and asked carefully, "Why do you think you won't be lucky?" "Because luck was never on my side. Even my first social appearance was postponed until my brother finished his." Alicia changed the subject smoothly. Talking about the children made it difficult for her to maintain her composure. "In fact, that's one of the reasons I invited you today. I grew up confined to the palace, so I don't know much about society, especially high society circles. I heard that you always receive a warm welcome in the aristocratic Calaibus society. You could easily become the center of this society, Your Highness. If you wish, I would be more than happy to assist you." "Really? But why? Duchess Schuyler?" Alicia looked very surprised. "Did I do something special to win her over?" "All she did was offer some candy and compliment Natalia." Belisa smiled sweetly at Elysia's confusion. She had previously realized that the princess had no hidden intentions, but her caution attracted Belisa's interest. It was not just curiosity, but sincere interest that stemmed from good feelings. Belisa admired the young princess. Despite her new royal status, she showed no arrogance, but remained humble and poised, which is difficult when one's position suddenly changes. The look of longing in her eyes whenever Natalia appeared affected Belisa deeply. "I just felt like sharing some of my good fortune with you," Belisa said warmly. "How are the preparations for the wedding going? It will be your first official event as a member of the Imperial family. Her Majesty the Empress said she would handle everything." "Indeed, it is appropriate for the Empress, as mistress of the Imperial Palace, to supervise the arrangements. But wouldn't you like to show something of your own? Such as decorations or flower arrangements?" Elysia listened to Belisa's advice, then raised the cup of tea to moisten her throat a little before answering, "Maybe I will fill the hall with red roses. They are the emblem of the Ambrose family. Although we are not so powerful that one should be proud of us, it is still better than nothing, right?" "Naturally." Belisa clapped happily and smiled brightly. Elysia replied with a gentle smile in return. "I think we could be good friends, Duchess." "I'm honored to hear that. Please, just call me Belisa." "Okay, Belisa." Elysia felt truly happy. Her invitation today was to build close ties with the Schuyler family, and unlike her previous life, which was filled with jinxes, she felt that things were finally starting to turn in her favor. "I would like to meet your husband next time too. My husband, Lyndon, is not in Calaibus at the moment. Unfortunately, I cannot promise when he will return." "Did he go to inspect your lands?" Belisa shook her head, a hint of worry on her face. "No, he's in Dafa, inspecting the mana stone mining areas." Belisa's words immediately sparked something in Elysia's mind. Mana stones, capable of storing magical energy, were more valuable than gemstones. A mana stone the size of a fingernail is worth 3 times the price of a diamond of the same size. Therefore, obtaining mining rights in areas rich in mana stones was crucial for noble families. In this period, the Dafa and Yankuru regions were under discussion. The mana mines in Merit, controlled by the Roshanak family, were almost exhausted by the time Alicia married Franz. As a result, the Roshanak family's influence declined dramatically. As Nerit production declined, the Schuyler and Corney families scrambled to snatch up the next lucrative site. After fragments of mana stones were discovered in Dafa, Dafa became the first candidate for mining. Schuyler and Corney competed fiercely, and in the end, Schuyler obtained the rights to Dafa, and was about to become the first family in the empire. But, tragically, Dafa experienced a devastating landslide the following year, causing the Schuyler family's financial collapse. With Schuyler's weakness, Corney and Roshanak rose to the top, strengthening Franz's political position. But, what if this time Corney obtains Dafa? In this case, Corney will collapse financially rather than Schuyler. If Schuyler were to obtain Yankuru instead, an area that was later revealed to be extremely rich in mana stones after the fall of Dafa, then Schuyler would rise to the pinnacle of glory. Yes, this is the way. Elysia stood in front of the palace fountain, her beauty unchanged. She watched the water flowing from the angelic children's jars without stopping, and smiled bitterly. This fountain will be dismantled in just 2 weeks. Knowing the future was sometimes helpful, but mostly painful. I hope everything ends quickly. The wedding, the party, everything. Alicia closed her stinging eyes. The palace staff described her as a happy bride, but she did not feel any happiness. The approaching marriage to Franz filled her with dread, especially because she could not escape it. Alicia. A familiar voice called out from behind her in an urgent tone. A deep, commanding voice, Franz. She was surprised by his unusual tone, so she turned around involuntarily. Franz? Why? Franz was standing in front of her, panting hard, his face red and his hair disheveled. His blonde hair, accustomed to being disciplined, was a mess, and the tie under his jacket was loose. He looked like he was running madly from somewhere. When their eyes met, he moved towards her, with a pained expression on his face. Before she could back down, he suddenly pulled her into his embrace. Her cheek pressed against his strong chest, where his rapid heartbeat beat. What are you doing? Liz, when she tried to wriggle away, Franz tightened his arms around her more tightly, leaving no distance between them. Liz, Liz, he repeated her name over and over, pushing his face into her neck. A man twice her size, clinging to her with disturbing desperation. Your Highness. Franz. You agreed to call me Franz. Franz, let me. Franz? He was holding on to her silently, refusing to move, and holding her tightly. Don't leave me. Leave you? Where shall I go, ah? He squeezed her thin back forcefully, pulling her closer to him. Then, she became visibly upset and angry. Leave me. I hate for you to touch me. It's disgusting. I could have a child like Natalia, I've had a child before. But you abandoned me until the end. Stop pretending to be desperate for me now. Stop. Elysia screamed almost hysterically, and backed away harshly. Leave me alone. Franz slowly relaxed his arms. As soon as he let go of her, she coldly removed his hand from her and looked at him with unconcealed aversion. What the hell was that? Franz stared at her, his eyes troubled. He looked between her and the fountain behind her, then let out a heavy exhale. He ran his tired hand through his messy hair, while she crossed her arms in exasperation. First the kiss, then this strange scene. His unusual behavior was suspicious. What are you planning? Franz in this life seemed different from the one she knew. He was clearly displaying mixed and complex emotions. The strange thing is that she preferred it when he openly despised her. At least, that was expected. I think I told you clearly before to send your messages through my maid. She wiped her skirt angrily, annoyed by the wrinkles left by his embrace. I apologize. You apologize easily. Alicia laughed sarcastically. Franz stood silent, his head lowered like a comet. She shook her head and turned away from him, fed up with him. She no longer wanted to deal with him, nor be affected by his volatile behavior. You don't seem to have anything else to say. I'll be off. I'll see you at the wedding. I thought you were back. Elysia froze. His trembling voice was enough to make her stop. When she turned around slowly, she saw Franz staring at her with deep sadness, as if he were heartbroken. I thought you were back in the forgotten ward.